Well, today we've had quite a range of guests, and we're very, very fortunate that the Pittsburgh Middle East Institute, and you can find out more about those folks at www.pittsburghmiddleeastinstitute.org, are sponsoring a Clean Power conference here. And it's called Clean Power, Pittsburgh and the Middle East, Creating Opportunity Through Energy, Technology, and Business. That took place here. And it's still going to be going on this afternoon, and I think there's a reception this evening. But the wonderful part for the American Entrepreneur Radio Show is it brought some extraordinarily important, talented, intelligent people from the Middle East here to our hometown in Pittsburgh, and we are very, very fortunate to have had one of the gentlemen in the previous hour, Ambassador Theros from the U.S. Qatar Business Council. In this hour, we are very, very fortunate to have Faisal Mushtaq. He's the director and partner of the Roots School System in Pakistan. He's an educational expert, a business expert. He's worked for IBM, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and is setting up an elite school which has 45 campuses all over the country of Pakistan with 15,000 students. And he is part of this delegation. He is here as a representative of the Prime Minister. And we welcome him to the American Entrepreneur. Mr. Mushtaq, welcome to the International Capitalist on the American Entrepreneur Radio Show.
David, thank you very much. The pleasure is all mine. We've had a much hospitable and a very warm reception this morning and had a great day.
Well, we like to hear it when our hometown treats our guests well, and indeed, sir, you are an honored guest here.
Your hometown is absolutely fabulous, especially once you come out of the tunnel and you see this beautiful city on the bank of the river. It is much warm and hospitable, and the Pittsburgh Middle East Institute has been a great host. And we've had some great discussions this morning from within the Allegheny regional business organizations and our friends from other Middle Eastern countries this morning.
Sure. Well, and by the way, am I pronouncing your name correct, sir?
That's perfect, yes.
I just want to make sure. Mr. Mushtaq, could you start off, and what I always like to do when we have a new person on our show is tell us a little bit about your background. I find that having our audience here at the American Entrepreneur understand where a person's come from and what their influences have been helps put their comments and their ideas into context. I've got a little bio of you here, but I'd much rather have you tell your own story to us.
Right. Okay. Thank you, David. And David, my name is Faisal Mushtaq. I'm representing the Pakistani delegation at the Pittsburgh Pittsburgh Middle East Institute Annual Conference on Clean Power. I, in Pakistan, together with my family, I represent one of the largest private independent educational sector organization. We are sponsoring the course of education, teaching, learning, innovation, and discovery in the field of private education. We have nearly 48 independent campuses across 10 major cities in Pakistan with a student population of nearly 15,000 students. We are an internationally recognized school system. We provide education from K to 12. We have early years schools, kindergarten schools, the primary and the secondary, and then the lower secondary schools. Then we do the high schools. We do the GCSEs and the British equivalents, and then we do the A-levels, which is the equivalent of the American high school and the IBs. And then we also do the undergraduate degrees there in Pakistan, and we provide excellence and achievement to such an extent that every year nearly a dozen of our students, they enter Ivy Leagues here in the United States on full scholarship. They go to colleges and schools like Harvard, Princeton, Yale, CMU, Columbia, Dartmouth, and in the United Kingdom, they enter colleges like Oxford and Cambridge. So within Pakistan, as an educational system, as an organization, we are working for the betterment of education and literacy in urban centers. Now, individually, I am a chartered accountant by profession. I qualified. I did my degree at the university in United Kingdom. Later on, I worked with PricewaterhouseCoopers Consulting Division in London. And then lastly, I was with IBM Business Consulting Services. As a community entrepreneur, as a social reformer, we in Pakistan, we are scaling the reach for affordable quality education. Our schools are not that they are only affordable by a high-income segment of the society. They are very affordable, they are reasonable, and we are trying to offer a modern, relevant, and an applied curriculum so that more and more students from the middle class and the upper middle class backgrounds can benefit from quality education with standards at par with the United States standards here.
Faisal, it sounds like an extraordinary undertaking to develop systems that cover preschool all the way through undergraduate level. And clearly, with the nature of the institutions, you said students go on to do graduate study, and that's quite extraordinary. I'm curious, how did this idea germinate? Was this something that came about as a public-private initiative? Was it in some ways pushed by government interested in the betterment of the people in Pakistan, or was it purely private?
Thank you, David. That's a very important question. Clearly, this idea did not originate from myself alone. This institution, Root School System, was founded 23 years from now. And this idea was originated by a young entrepreneur and a bright teacher who happens to be my mother. Her name is Faisal Mushtaq. She was in the field of teaching and she was in the field of education. And at the time when she realized that she has her own kids and she started sending her own children to schools in Pakistan, she realized that majority of the schools in the urban cities in Pakistan, they lack social and emotional connection, they lack happiness, they lack positivity, and they lack an internationally benchmarked curriculum which is promoting literacy, which is promoting critical thinking, which is promoting computer literacy, and which is promoting collaboration. So my mother founded this institution 23 years from now with the humble beginning of 50 students. So today, we, being the first generation, we have taken our footsteps forward in the field of education and created altogether a holistic approach by empowering our students with a modern, relevant, and an applied curriculum. Our examination and assessments, they are benchmarked with the rest of the world. We are a center of excellence in Pakistan. We are an ISO-certified educational institution, and we work with schools, students, communities on social exchanges, cultural exchanges, educational exchanges. We have created a fusion in the field of education by sponsoring ideas like Office of Global Reach and School Links and creating opportunities for beyond the classroom learning and teaching. Most importantly, it took us nearly 10 years to build capacities for teacher development and human resource empowerment. For that, we have set up the Institute for Training and Education, which is continuously developing teaching practices and enriching our current and existing teachers with ideas, with pedagogical approach, with developments in the field of curriculum, and how to evolve themselves to cope up with the modern relevant standards.
I must say, it may sound like a more of a personal observation, but your mother's got to be very proud of you. It's not often that you can take this vision, and I suspect that when she first developed her views, she wasn't envisioning 48 campuses really competing on a global level of quality, providing affordable education for people all over Pakistan.
No, not at all. I mean, she was a teacher at heart, and all throughout she's been a teacher, and all what she wanted was a happy schooling experience for the child. And she believed in the Montessori method of education, which is an incremental method of education, and the Montessori philosophy and the pedagogy calls for that the child, he or she learns without knowing he or she is learning. So she started and initiated the school she founded the first Montessori school way back in 1987. And all throughout, she's been full of passion, commitment, energy, enthusiasm, and positivity. And that is after 10 years, then we, as the first generation, myself, I took over, and then we realized that this education and literacy is the single common denominator which can scale Pakistan from good to greatness. And even representing Pakistan and that part of the world, the real challenge for us is, before we talk energy, business, and other interests, is got to do with perceptions and the image of our country, because Pakistan is much beyond these headlines that we see in the televisions and in the newspaper. It's a country of 170 million resilient, hardworking, intelligent, young, bright people. And so the local entrepreneurs, educationists, people like us, we need to represent the mainstream Pakistan. And the mainstream Pakistan is the one which is enlightened, is the one which believes in partnership, is the one which believes in opportunities, is the one which believes in jobs, and is working very hard to create that kind of an image.
Well, I'd like to get back to you. We're going to take a little break now, and when we come back, I'd like to go right into the details of that, people's perception of Pakistan and the opportunities and the challenges versus the reality, because it's been my experience doing a lot of global business that very often the perceptions people have based on popular media do not match up to realities.
Exactly.
I'm David Iwinski, the international capitalist, on Pittsburgh's Money Talk, 1360 WMNY. Stick around, more good conversation to come. Welcome back to the American Entrepreneur. I'm David Iwinski, the international capitalist, on Pittsburgh's Money Talk, 1360 WMNY. We are speaking to Faisal Mushtaq, director and partner of the Roots School System in Pakistan. And you can find out more, by the way, folks, by going to Roots School, ROOTSCHOOL.edu.pk. That's the suffix for Pakistan. And you can actually go to that website and learn more about this institution and the amazing work that Faisal and his team are doing there.